the best story in AEW.
You're gonna write a book about this?
I might. It'd probably get a lot of readers.
Like a minstrel just telling the tale of Mariah May and Tony
I can't
Storm.
play the lute, but yeah, I guess if I could become a minstrel.
I think you're a little too tall for minstrel. No?
There's a height requirement for
I mean,
being
they
a
were
minstrel?
short in the medieval
When did you
times.
become a fucking minstrel expert? Well, it was important enough to tell your parents at dinner tonight. So do you want to tell everybody the news of the day? Even though by the time they watch this or listen to this, it's 24 hours old.
Ricochet?
Yeah, Ricochet.
Signed to AEW.
Super. Yay. And you're super excited about that.
I mean, no.
Oh.
But it will turn the needle for me, for AEW.
So he will be a needle mover for you. Like, you'll watch to see him. You liked him that much.
Yeah, why?
Because, this is a conversation we had months ago when the rumors was that he was leaving and Braun Breaker killed him on live television. And then he's just kind of sitting at home and everybody's like, what's going on? And then people thought Hologram was him, but he's like, hey, man, you see all my tattoos? Those don't wash off. So you're excited for Ricochet in AEW? Yeah,
but why wouldn't they keep this a secret so that when he comes out, it's like, oh, you know?
Because of the internet? We'll get into that.
Wasn't Cody a moment when he came back to WWE?
There's a WrestleMania surprise. Yeah, they have his WrestleMania surprise opponent for Seth Rollins.
Wasn't CM Punk when he came back too?
He did, because everybody thought the show was over, and then he came out just be like, hey guys, it's me, CM Punk. I'm not in AEW anymore.
So like Ricochet, I feel like they could have kept it quiet because this would have been everybody's watching to see when he's going to show up. Let's
talk about that. But first, welcome back
to
your Mean to Me podcast. We didn't do the intro last week. I was like, oh man, I'm really out of practice. You're Mean to Me. I'm Chris Robinson.
I'm Tony Robinson.
Tonia?
Antonia Robinson.
I feel like you forgot the A.
No, I said Tony Robinson.
I'm not editing this.
I said Tony Robinson.
It sounded like you said Tonia.
No.
I'm not going to edit this.
Okay.
So pick a name.
And Tony Robinson.
All right. Tony Robbins. My wife, Tony Robbins. Make sure, wherever you're watching or listening, you subscribe. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And you can find all of our social media links here in the old link tree. Climb the branches. Go to the link tree. I've been doing a lot of threading lately. I think that's what the kids are calling it. Threading. Posting on
I don't think the kids are doing that. So
you don't know.
That's what the old people who need something other than Twitter to do.
All right, first of all, I got a lot of engagement the other day on the old threads. We'll talk about that later, but let's...
Do we have to? Hot topic?
They're not a sponsor.
No.
I wish they were. I used to work there. Anyway.
Of course you did.
Back to Ricochet. Yes. How are they going to debut him? And I went to the old Twitter and threads machine immediately and said, I hope they build up to him with vignettes and kind of like, build the anticipation, then maybe give like a date.
But like in a mysterious way or in like here's Ricochet, he might be here.
No, here's the problem. Here's the whole problem is, and I mentioned it, I mentioned hologram.
Yeah.
Because everybody thought that this was Ricochet, or, and it was like, no, it's a former luchador from CMLL, AAA, wherever the hell he's from, Artemis, who signed with AEW. Tony Khan made up this character. He's a high flyer. He's a luchador. He's great. He's been an attraction on Collision. Awesome. They built him up with vignettes. They had these kind of like mysterious type of vignettes.
Uh-huh.
I don't need them to go the mysterious route with Ricochet, but I would like to see some build to kind of who is he going to be? How is he going to fit into AEW? And I hope that they have a creative plan for him, because I feel like it's been hit or miss. They had Tony Khan said he signed Mariah May with this whole idea for this Tony Storm story a year ago. That's great.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Huh?
What? I don't think he has enough foresight to do something like that.
I'm not saying he mapped out every week of television and said, look, she's playing this character. You're going to come in as her protege, and then we're going to eventually have you turn on her, and that's going to be a big match. That's all you need. That's enough for me. All right. That's enough for me.
Continue with the Ricochet one.
And then you have Okada, who came in like, hey, you're going to be in the Elite, and give people the middle finger. And it's like, isn't he like the best Japanese wrestler of the last decade? And no, we're just going to have him go, okay. So that's my concern with Ricochet. Do you share that concern that he's going to come in and they're just going to flash debut him at All In the Casino Gauntlet match and be like, hey, Ricochet's here? Or do you think they should build him up and actually treat him like an important acquisition, like a big star coming into the company?
Yeah, why wouldn't I want that one? I want that one, the second one.
Okay.
But I think what they should do is, I don't want this build up. That's stupid. I want them to be like, oh, your buddy's hurt, and now you need another partner in this 1,000,000 tag team match because they always have them with 1,000,000 people in it. And you're like, who's it going to be?
They're called trios matches.
Who's it going to be? So and so and so and so. Who's going to be your third in this match against the, I don't know who. And out comes Ricochet.
So you like the surprise entrance?
Yeah. Well,
no build up.
I don't want the build. Don't give me that. I don't want to follow a story because, like, you know who killed that? The Wyatt Sicks. There's all this build up, and then
different company. Yeah, well, yeah, we talked.
And
about that.
so, like, I don't need that. I like the CM Punk because you almost shit your pants when he came back, like, because you knew it was kind of happening,
but that was out of nowhere. That was not, hey, we need.
That's
a third.
why I don't think they should have announced that they signed Ricochet. Everybody knew he was gonna go there, and we're just waiting for when he was gonna show up.
But I don't want them to debut him in a multi-man match like the Casino Gauntlet, where it's going to be all these people and he's going to be one of the guys.
Do you think they're going to throw him into, like, the main event conversation with the Ospreay and the MJF and the Swerves?
I don't need him to debut in the main event, but I need to give him a level of importance. This is the company, like I said, that kind of has mishandled Okada's booking. A lot of people using fumbled. This is the company that has Ricky Starks sitting at home with no creative. This is the company that doesn't that this whole Lucha Brothers thing with Penta and Rey Fenix, that's a mess. We don't know whether, like, there's become this thing now when guys get towards the end of their contracts, Tony Khan's like, well, I got nothing for you, go sit home and whatever happens. So it's like, it's a weird, everybody's kind of handled in a different way, and I don't want him to come in like some of these other guys and be like hot for like maybe a month or two run to get him on a pay-per-view, and then they fade, and then obviously a Ricochet on Ring of Honor or a Ricochet on Rampage just winning squash matches.
Well, I don't want that for him either, but I just don't want him to show up and, like, just be thrown into something like Mercedes Moné was just throwing it into, like, the title conversation with what's her face and the other what's her face.
Well, double what's her faces. Yeah, Willow and Statlander. Yeah.
Yeah, and now, like, she's beefing. Who's she beefing with? DMD.
Well, yeah, the pillar of the women's division in AEW. Like you said, you were part of 4. I've always been 1. That was such a great line. That exchange was magical because of Britt, not, as you like to say, a booty on the mic.
She is booty on the mic. Everybody says it, not just me. I heard it on the Twitters.
It's true. No, a lot of I've seen it a lot more because she's been talking a lot more, and it's just like, And I mean, she's got Camille now. That's a whole other story. We'll get to some all-in predictions. But, I mean, all right. So, I mean, it's kind of agree-disagree moment. I would rather see him built up and teased and have a, definitive debut date.
That could also fizzle out.
Not for months. See, the Wyatts have clouded your judgment as it has for, like, 90% of wrestling fans on Twitter because of the awful way they've been handled.
Just bring him out. Don't tease. Just bring him out.
I'm talking, like, 4 weeks. I'm talking about, like...
4 weeks is a long time.
4 vignettes. Okay, 3?
0.
Okay, well...
Just bring him out. You signed him. He should be at the next thing.
The amount of viewers it's going to pop. If not, you want to pop a rating. They've been popping ratings with big and they popped a rating.
He
with
should
Blood
be on
Nuts.
the first thing after All In or All Out.
They popped a rating with MJF and Ospreay. Like big things that happen. If you map it out and treat it like it's a big deal, like they did with Mercedes, not for like 2.
But isn't it? But that's what I'm asking you. If it's going to be a big deal, are they going to throw him into a big deal like conversation?
They might. There's so many.
And
titles.
I just asked you that.
There's so many titles.
There's too many titles.
They could throw him in with Okada. Okada doesn't have a distinctive feud right now. I guess this casting, the only thing is a feud. I don't know. The TNT title, that's kind of its own thing. The world title, what else we got?
Because I don't want him out there beefing with the Briscoe. I don't want him out.
I don't want him anywhere near Ring of Honor.
I don't want him anywhere near Chris Jericho. I don't want him anywhere near Hook.
No, that's its own.
I don't want him in any conversation unless it's with like the top guys because he is too much of a talent to be wasted on like slappy slap fights with Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston's got a broken leg. Don't worry about Eddie Kingston.
And it should stay broke.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But here's the thing: you're kind of making my point for me that you want him, regardless of how he debuts, you want him to be treated with a certain level of importance. After the surprise factor, after the debut. But you're right. I don't know why they would. I mean, because it feels leaked. The Fightful doesn't find things out just with their super sleuth reporting. Like somebody told them, either Ricochet himself or their sources in AEW. Like, yeah, we signed Ricochet, but maybe they're doing it because they just want to help the buy rate for All In. People think, the one spot where he could debut is the Gauntlet
If he debuts in All In, that's stupid.
In front of 50,000 people at Wembley Stadium. Do you imagine the pop that's going to get? That's the only thing I'm thinking is that Tony Khan's like, that pop in front of 50,000 people that we can then show.
It should happen in America.
As his entrance pop for his whole run.
In America.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Thanks, Chad Gable. Look, you American made now?
I've been American made.
Shoosh. I think that's the only thing that just popped in my head just now. Tony Khan wants that 50,000 stadium fans popping when Ricochet comes out, and then they can use that in perpetuity.
What did he come out for? Like
the
just a
casino
show?
gauntlet match.
I don't
They
know
haven't
what that is.
announced all the participants for that. Hangman's the only one. Winner gets a world title shot.
They have so many of these like million people matches. It's so annoying.
They're trying to get people on the card. They got a lot of people. It's
They got too many people.
Well, as Will Ospreay put it the other night, 3,000.
Like it's
It's
the
3,000 guys in
exact opposite. People are getting tired of like the 5 matches on the card for WWE because you're not showcasing enough of your talent, and then you got 50 million people at All In. And it's gonna be 10 hours of wrestling. We're gonna go get our tattoo, come back, still watch wrestling.
I don't know. We might have to reschedule. This is too good. This card.
Do you want to reschedule?
No. Just watch it till we leave, and then watch the replay. Like I don't have to watch it. I'd like to watch it live, but
I wasn't planning on watching any.
And yet you texted me today. Are we gonna be talking about All In tonight? Like
Don't tell people what I tell you. That's our personal conversation.
anyway.
I know I was gonna brush up, and then I had work to do, and then I was like, I actually don't care as much, so I'll just pick as we go.
Well, I don't want to run down the whole card because there's some matches I don't care about. I don't care who wins the trios titles. I don't care who wins between Jericho and Hook. You know, I mean the big 4 or 5 matches that are really the meat and potatoes of the card. Like I don't care who wins the casino gauntlet. You still got Darby Allin in the wings. He's got a title shot at Arthur Ashe. Like they're just handing out title shots to people. You win a match this week, you get a world title shot. We don't know when. So who do you think is going to win between Ospreay and MJF?
Ospreay.
Yeah, I think he has to.
They can't possibly send him all the way to where are they going to be?
Wembley Stadium in
Oh
England.
yeah, see, they're not going to send him to his home country and have him lose.
And also he lost.
But that would be the greatest thing in the. Well, sorry.
Jeez Louise.
That would be actually really cool if they had MJF in all American gear beat him and then talk shit about like the Revolutionary War or something. That'd be cool. You know what? That'd be good. I'm voting for MJF.
What a switch! You really.
I feel like it's gonna be Ospreay, but like, would I love MJF just like fucking over the crowd in Wembley? Yeah.
It's 100% going to be Ospreay winning, and they might complete the trilogy at All Out. Like that's the other thing too. And I'll never let this go. Booking All Out, a pay-per-view like a week after All In, or is it 2 weeks now? Whatever it is the dumbest thing ever. You can't do that. You just can't.
Getting off track. We should talk about something else.
Anyway, but I'm saying that affects what happens this night. Like you can't look at All In and be like, oh, like because they can just be like, oh, do a rematch at All Out. But MJF won the first match. I think Ospreay has to win this one. Then they'll probably complete the trilogy at All Out or some other time. What about Britt Baker and your favorite wrestler of all time, Mercedes Moné?
I don't know. I feel like they can't take the title away from Mercedes all of a sudden. Like I feel like she kind of has to keep it a little bit longer. And I hear like Britt Baker causes a lot of trouble, so I think as punishment they won't give her a title.
Haven't you seen that both MJF and her have been like, and even Ospreay I saw today in an interview because he's over there doing press. They said it's the most blown out of proportion story of all time. Like,
that's what they gotta say. What are they gonna say? Yeah, that girl bitch. Like, come on now. It's called PR. It's called marketing. It's called, hey, you're doing the presses. Don't make it a thing because we don't want this story to overshadow all of All In. Come on now. And that's just, no, I know she a bitch.
Let the bitch be a hoe.
Let the bitch be a hoe. But she's not being a hoe. She's being a bitch.
Just straight up.
That's what I heard.
That's what people make up. These dirt sheets need to pull you in. They need you to click besides just like, here's the results from Raw.
Listen, if it wasn't that big a deal, why should she get suspended? HR don't just be suspending people for no reason.
I don't know.
Like, oh, you had a back and forth with MJF. It's okay. Just like clear it over. Like,
so you think Mercedes is retaining?
I guess so. Yeah.
I'd agree because this feud is like just begun. I don't think they're gonna count. I think they want to get.
And I think it's gonna be dirty.
This.
I think that big tall girl that she got
Camille.
walking around is gonna like intervene or something.
Absolutely, yeah. And people are thinking that Jamie Hayter, who's British, who's former women's champion, who was in a group with Britt, they think she might be coming back from injury. Finally, I think it's been over a year for her too. She had a back problem or something.
I was missing her, but okay.
You don't even know who that is.
I don't.
Anyway, yeah, no, I think this feud is just beginning. I think these are two of their biggest female stars. I don't think they're going to blow this off in one match. I think Mercedes gets the win dirty and then probably a rematch.
That's what I said.
A lot. Yeah, I am agreeing with you.
I'm very smart.
What?
I'm very smart.
Tony Storm and Mariah May, the greatest story ever told in AEW. Who do you think wins that one?
This is a tough one because I hate them both so much. In this situation, I wish an earthquake just collapses the building.
It's the best story in AEW. Like, hands down, it's taken a year to tell. It's been interesting every step of the way.
You're going to write a book about this?
I might. It'd probably get a lot of readers.
Like a minstrel just telling the tale of Mariah May and Tony
I can't
Storm.
play the lute, but yeah, I guess if I could become a minstrel.
I think you're a little too tall for minstreling, no?
There's a height requirement for
me. I mean, they were
minstrel?
short in the medieval
times. When did you become a fucking minstrel expert?
I watch a lot of Robin Hood.
What do you mean, a lot of Robin Hood?
They have minstrels telling the story of Robin Hood.
In what? In
the Disney version of Robin Hood with the Aminals. They had a rooster minstrel.
I bet they did. You love that rooster minstrel, I'm sure.
You're making it weird.
Anyway, I think Mariah has to win.
I don't know.
Has to win.
I don't know.
Has to be dirty. Probably going to use the shoe.
I think the whole match is going to be in black and white.
God, I hope so.
And
I think Mariah has to win.
I don't know.
I don't think you can have everything that's happened.
This is a tough call. This is a coin flip.
Really?
I don't know.
Tony's been champion forever.
But I don't think people are going to love that she got turned on. Like, you can't reward the heel.
You have to have a payoff, though. She turned on it, and she'll get comeuppance, and then Mariah will do something dirty and win. Maybe Mina Shirakawa's back in the States. She might come out and finally fully side with Mariah and interfere. I don't dispel the fact that there might be a lot of interference on this show, because it feels like they've been very old school TNA-ish lately with the beatdowns and the interference and stuff. Like, I mean, WWE does interference on pay-per-views too, so the precedent's there. So I think Mina Shirakawa comes out and does some sort of interference. Maybe it backfires and Mariah takes home the belt. You got to pay it off with Mariah winning here. Okay. You can't have Tony retain and then treat All Out in Chicago we can just clean up the mess here. No, things have to pay off at all. And this is your WrestleMania. This is what you've built it as. You have to pay off big angles here, one way or the other.
All right, I heard you.
I'm not. I'm talking to the audience. No. The people who watch and listen to the show.
All 7 of you.
There's more than 7. More people prefer your Real Housewives stuff, which we'll get to, than anything else.
Because I talk from knowing.
And then what other matches are important? TNT title, I don't really care about Darby and Jack Perry. I'm sorry. I don't. That title, and it should be a cruiserweight title at this point. But the main event, title versus career, Swerve and Bryan Danielson.
Oh, I hope Swerve's wins, because I'm tired of Daniel Bryanson on my TV.
You're tired of who?
Daniel Bryanson.
You said...
Daniel Bryanson?
It sounded like you said Daniel Bryanston.
What's his name?
Like you combine Daniel Bryan and Bryan Cranston and somehow come up with...
Is it Daniel... No,
Bryan Daniel Cranston?
What is his name? What am I saying?
Bryan Danielson.
What I said Daniel Bryanson.
He used to be Daniel Bryan in WWE.
But I said...
your brain just diarrheaed
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
That's his name right now.
Yes.
Okay. Bryan Danielson needs to go because, first of all, now your name's confusing me. And... I don't know. I'm just tired. Because then, isn't he the one that does the sit-down slappy slaps with it?
They're trying to act like this one guy that does sit-down slappy slaps, which is not what it's called, but it's a damn interesting name. They all do it. It's a Japanese strong style thing. It originated in Japan many, many years ago.
I clearly do not like the Japanese style of wrestling.
Give
me a luchador.
Give me a luchador anyway. What, you mean Okada hasn't won you over? Yeah. I think this is it for him. I don't think he's going to win the belt. I think he's going to go out on the biggest stage, 50,000 people, have an incredible 6-star match with Swerve. They're really going to beat the crap out of each other. What are you snoring about? This is professional wrestling.
It's going to go on for an hour.
I don't think it's going to go on for an hour.
They go so long.
Whatever the case, it's going to be a great wrestling match, and you're not going to have the guy go out in a fucking 10-minute TV match. What, are you kidding me?
Sure.
It's from 50,000 people.
I know. Why are you mad?
Because you say, it's going to be like an hour long. Yeah, it's going to be an hour. It's going to be a captivating... Ospreay and MJF just did an hour, and it was incredible. And this is Danielson and Swerve, who are on that level, if not above in some ways. So
you overuse the word incredible.
I think Swerve retains here, because this is just another big notch for him and his belt. To be like, I retired Bryan Danielson. And then he's got Hangman waiting in the wings. He's got Darby waiting in the wings. Because I think Hangman takes the gauntlet.
Okay.
And then the tag match, because they're buddies of mine, the Acclaimed, I hope they win. They won the trios titles last year. What are you laughing at?
Your buddies of mine.
I've traveled to Alaska with Bowens.
We have them over for dinner.
We're not close friends, but we're friends. We travel together. I've reffed his matches for a few... What?
You know them. They're acquaintances.
I've reffed matches for them, multiple matches for both of them when they were coming up on the indies over the last 3-4 years before they signed with AEW.
Okay, well, who are they going against?
It's a triple threat with FTR and the Young Bucks. Young Bucks are defending the titles.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, the Acclaimed.
Yeah. See,
they were on that show with the food trucks the other day. Did you guys watch it?
They were on that show with the food. What was that called? Food truck. It was some sort of food truck competition. It was good. They were good. Them and the Guns.
Yeah, but the whole competition was so stupid.
The show itself, yeah, a little wonky for me. But
all the food looks really bad.
All right. We're not here to review the goddamn food truck.
Okay.
I was saying the Acclaimed and the Guns were good. Like the Guns have grown on me. I didn't like them when they first came around, but they've grown on me. They've really developed as performers and as good heels. Like you just like I want to see these two guys get punched in the face. They're over in the trios title match, which I don't know who wins that. It's that to me is a mess, that division. But yeah, I'm rooting for Max and Anthony, friends of mine.
Anthony Bowens knows Teresa Giudice.
Does he?
That's what your friend Vargas told me.
Okay.
Vargas said that.
All right, I don't remember that, but yeah, I mean, if he said it, Vargas isn't one to make.
I don't
stuff
know
up.
if you know. Like maybe they met.
Bowens has done so many like charity events.
He also
he's a model.
He modeled for Savage
YouTuber.
Fenty, so it could have been like a promotional thing too.
Absolutely, Bowens is an awesome.
But like
guy.
to meet Teresa Giudice, my goodness.
Bowens and Cass are awesome, but I will say I can't wait till they both have singles runs someday. I love the Acclaimed. I don't want them to break up anytime soon, but they're going to be so valuable as singles performers.
Okay.
Shout out to those guys. Anyway, well, so there's one other thing I want to talk. Well, two other things. We won't talk about threads. Let's just say I got into another conversations with people over my feeling on the Wyatts. You've soured on the Wyatts.
I never was good on the Wyatts.
But you were a little more like open-minded, like weren't you? Like let's like it could be good, it could be bad. Like you're always like that though. You don't ever like put a line in the sand for anything with that.
Yeah, because you're very defined with what you do and do not like. But I don't know it until I see it. Like
I'm just happy that a lot of people on Threads agreed with me because people on Twitter and comments on the YouTube video, people were like, "What are you talking about? You can't."
I mean, people are really holding on to this nostalgia and like this sentimentality around it. But like you gotta like take off the rose-colored glasses?
Yes.
And like just really see it for what it is, and it's fucking boring.
It's boring as shit.
And I'm listen. My heart
what
goes
about Bray?
Yeah, my heart goes out to somebody who lost their brother and was clearly close. But I don't need to see you weeping every week on little like vignettes and videotapes.
So bad.
And like crying about it. Like this isn't compelling storytelling. I don't like. It almost seems, and it's gonna sound like mean, but it almost seems like he's like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Trying too hard.
No, he's like trying to capitalize on his brother's death.
Look, I
like it seems very like, oh, you're like exploiting it, and I don't like that. Like you gotta take a step back and be your own person, and not your brother's like biggest fan that's not trying to keep his legacy alive. I'm not here for it. Not here for it.
And I would have been fine if he came back and just did Uncle Howdy by himself and did this like weird split personality. Who am I talking to? Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy? But the fact they have the group and the masks and the way they debuted and these vignettes and everything, they've already named everybody. That they rip the allure off it. Like, oh, that's Joe Gacy, that's Dexter Loomis, that's Eric Rowan, that's Nikki Cross. They think they're these people. Like, huh? Like you've already stripped away the spooky supernatural stuff. Now they're just four people cosplaying as the Wyatt family, or you know, as a cover band. They're a cover band.
And I hate that they debuted and they like tore apart and like killed everybody in Gorilla, right?
Yeah, all the production people.
I thought that was okay. Maybe this can go somewhere. That was very theatrical, almost cinematic.
Nope.
And it went fucking nowhere.
Nowhere. No rep. And then Bo Dallas shows up as himself in Adam Pearce's office. Like, so him and his group beat the shit out of backstage people that are not television characters, and you're just like, well, that'll happen.
And we still don't get why he's like beefing with Chad Gable.
I keep saying that.
You gotta stop alluding. Unless they do it on the show, I don't give a shit about your conspiracy theories.
You have to think about it. Like, oh, okay, I'll think about it. I think it's fucking awful. And people are
all like, these videos, and he still hasn't explicitly said, I am beefing with Chad Gable because of XYZ.
Exactly.
Like, stop it. Like, stop telling me it's because he betrayed family. Like, that's your theory.
Spell it out for me.
Shut up.
It's wrestling. It's storytelling, not Mad Libs. I'm supposed to fill in the blanks myself.
Like, I'm not saying there can't be subtlety around it, but then be like, but you still haven't even alluded to it.
It's a bunch of people who loved Bray Wyatt very much who bought a smoke machine. And they come every week, and they want to make sure they get their money's worth out of that smoke machine. Because it's all it is. So they come out. They already beat American Made clean. Now you got Howdy and Gable coming up next Monday. I'm like, who cares? Like, what is the point of this? And I said, like, I can't wait. The thread that I wrote, I just put, I can't wait till Chad Gable is away from this Uncle Howdy nonsense and Wyatt nonsense, because I feel like he was doing just fine. And this whole split with Alpha Academy would have happened anyway, organically. And he should be on to bigger and better things than this.
It ruined that storyline too.
Totally did. Otis's turn meant nothing.
Because everybody was waiting for that moment.
And
then he got killed by the Wyatt Sicks. And then now there's still kind of a story, but I feel like now Alpha Academy is in the background. You haven't done much with them aside of like causing beef with Maxine and the girl with the braids.
And that got interrupted by the Wyatts.
Like I feel like they're just kind of throwing good money after bad. Like they're just kind of like sunk costs. Like, well, we put so much into like this build up, we just got to keep going with it and not just cut our losses and say this really wasn't it.
It's gonna flame out.
And like using the name Wyatt, I just realized that's not actually their last name. So like,
well, it wasn't Bray's last name either.
Yeah, but Bo didn't never like use that name Wyatt. So Wyatt's clearly just a reference to Bray, which I think just let it go. Like you gotta let it go.
Yeah, it's what I said from the beginning.
Listen, I'm not giving you a timeline on your grief, but when it comes to the wrestling and the gimmick and like all that, like I think you gotta stop holding on to something just because you refuse to let go. Like. Yeah. Keep it alive in your home. Keep it alive amongst your family.
That's what I've been saying.
Keep it alive in your memory. You can honor your brother.
The documentary was great,
but we don't all have to follow you on this honor that you want to give your brother. Like I think it's overkill.
Unless they had a really great, compelling story, and they don't. And you can compare it to the compelling stories you have on Raw and SmackDown. I tune in every week to see what the Bloodline's up to next. I tune in every week to see what this Judgment Day storyline, where that's going. I was tuning in before the Wyatts to see how Chad Gable was going to mistreat Alpha Academy and wait for that day when Otis turned on him. And
Chad Gable does deserve more. I think Chad Gable
100%.
deserves so much more.
Somebody on Threads called him a jobber. I was like, huh? I was like, you clearly know what a jobber is. Like Chad Gable is amazing, and he's going to be one of the top heels for them for quite a while. And it's just he's roadblocked right now on Raw by Gunther, because Gunther came up as a mega heel. So you have your mega heel. Braun Breaker now has come up, but still, he's so solid that at some point they're gonna slide him in and make him Intercontinental Champion, and he's gonna be World Champion someday. Like, it's gonna take time.
I really do think there's a missed opportunity of having the Wyatts first beefing with Jey Uso, because there could have been a comedic element to that, because he's hilarious about it. And
it would have made the most sense with the Firefly stuff and everything, and they could have come in as heels after the whole like murder angle, and then they could have messed with him. Sammy could have backed him up. It would have been Sammy and Jey, which they're already leaning towards reuniting as a team anyway. And it's, they back each other up when they have to. Them versus the Wyatts, like there was more of an organic, natural story there for them to come in and just be like, we don't like Chad Gable because he's mistreating his family, and we're a family of people who wear weird masks. Like, huh? Like, it's not Bray. It's like, it's frustrating. It's a waste of time for me every Monday night. Yeah. And I'm starting to see more and more people agree with me, which makes me feel better. Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, this is terrible. And I see people like, no, this is fucking terrible. I'm like, all right, good. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, and I guess we can be somewhat brief about it so we don't go too long. Do you feel like Cody's run as WWE Champion has been kind of lackluster?
Yep.
You do? Because I see a lot of people talking about it like he hasn't had...
I'm not tuning in for Cody anymore.
The money's in the chase. They always say that, and there's nothing more true in wrestling than money's in the chase.
I think that there's too much going on with all the others. I don't know. I think also SmackDown isn't the place for him, personally. No. I feel like the superstars there all have their own thing going on, and I don't think there's enough heels for him now that, like, because I don't want you back beefing with the Bloodline again. Like, that's going to be Roman's thing, right? Like,
that's why he's facing fellow babyface and on-screen, like, compatriot Kevin Owens, and it's like, why are you fighting your friend who's also babyface who didn't want the title shot and had to be convinced to take it? Which a lot of people on Twitter, like former wrestlers, experts like Bully Ray and stuff, were like, why would you ever turn down a WWE title shot under any circumstances, whether it's your friend or not? That's supposed to be what you're there for. That's the goal of every wrestler in that company, is to be on top. Kevin Owens has been on top before. He was Universal Champion years ago. So it's like, I know they're friends.
I don't know if it's maybe that the drama leading up to WrestleMania was so good that everything else is just kind of pales in comparison. Because,
well, there's just no story now. I mean, he kind of, him and AJ Styles went back and forth, and it's back to the Bloodline, and then
I did like his thing with AJ Styles. I think they had
great matches.
Yeah, they had
because
great
AJ's
matches.
Phenomenal.
I like them.
But I mean, I really thought it was going to be him and Randy. I was looking forward to Cody and Randy Orton, for Randy to turn heel again when he's at his best and just like take Cody out and be like, you know, I mentored you, and now, you know, I'm gonna kill you, and you know, take that title back and have my 15th run. And like they could have built something great. I don't mind the Gunther storyline. I like where the King of the Ring is it, but I really felt like that was what was coming, and the Bloodline story was going to kind of go be itself, Roman versus Solo, and whatever that is. But the fact they sucked Cody back into it, and now he's just kind of floating. And I mean, they've got a pay-per-view in Berlin, and they're like, Kevin Owens, like, because it's ridiculous. He's already beaten Logan Paul. There's no other like top heels right now on
Maybe
SmackDown.
it's like the opposite of the AEW problem. They don't have enough.
They don't have top heels on SmackDown.
Whereas like they have too many people at AEW. They don't have like SmackDown. I feel like has always been like a smaller roster.
Well, it's a shorter show. You don't need to fill 3 hours, so you know, not getting many people. I was thinking they should have shifted Drew away from CM Punk for a minute and had him come over and be like, "Oh, if Randy's challenging Gunther, then I want a shot at Cody or something." Like done something to kind of like a talent trade. Because I mean, Randy kind of just bloop. Now he's on Raw every week because he's challenged for the title.
And
but
no
he's
other
a
beef
SmackDown.
seems organic with Cody. Like I don't know. It just
That's the only one that made sense. And they always had Randy looking at the belt. Every week he would just kind of look at the belt, and people were like, "Oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna turn on Cody."
maybe
at
this
some
is a
point.
curveball, like a swerve for us. I don't know.
Maybe they're still gonna do it. I don't know. Yeah, but
it's definitely been. I wouldn't say he's not a bad champion. I just don't think they've done enough with him because there's so much other stuff going on.
his run hasn't been met. He's had a couple,
and he's been
matches.
overshadowed by these other great storylines. Like, listen, I don't remember all the names. The Tamatongas, the Tongaloas,
The Tongans. Just call them the Tongans.
the Lou Ferrigno's. I don't know what's his name.
The Lou Ferrigno. Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu.
The Lou Ferrigno was the Incredible Hulk.
I know. I know why I came up with that name.
You know, Jacob Ferrigno.
Who's the big guy?
Rigno.
Who's the big guy?
Huh?
Someone.
What are you talking about?
The big guy, the main guy.
Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa. Okay, I'm not good with names.
Lou Ferrigno, Magnum PI.
Like once upon a time, I wouldn't give two shits about this guy, but he is given compelling. He's been great. He's been giving I mean, wrestling wise, meh. But like acting wise, like I am watching you, buddy.
Yeah, he's not the best in the ring. He's a power guy. He's an old school power guy. He doesn't need to be that dynamic. The babyface should just be selling for him and his power moves, so it's not as fast paced and dynamic as some of the other heels you're used to. So yeah, but character-wise, he's killed.
I am waiting for them to finally give Roman a mic, but I feel like he's not going to be on this week because he's been like killed.
Yeah, he got put through a table. He'll be all right. I can't wait till Paul Heyman comes back. There's a lot. But that's the thing. You're tuning in each week to be like, what's going to happen next? Like that's the thing. I don't care what happens from week to week with the Wyatts. Like that can go screw.
I can't get enough of the Judgment Day storyline, except for the Liv and Dom stuff. Like you guys need to get your hands.
But overall though, how that's evolved, and now they kick the two original members out of the group, so now it's these, you know.
No, I love the story.
Yeah. You just don't want to see, you just want to see less of the.
Why are you gonna
kiss?
kiss?
They've been very gentle with the head kisses.
It's so gross, and no grown man should ever want to eat that many chicken tenders.
Well, I don't know about that. Agree to disagree there. Depends on where they're from. Chicken tendies. I don't eat chicken tenders.
Chicken tendies just gives picky eater. Like that's someone with no palate.
It's for children. That's the joke.
It's like dry as fuck.
You gotta souse them up.
I know. I don't like sousing up my chickens.
This took a turn. All right. That is going to do it for us for this week. Let us know in the comments what do you think is going to happen at All In, if you agree or disagree with any of our predictions. And let me know what you think about Cody's run. If you think it's kind of been like, should he lose that belt again and go chasing after it to finish another story? Everything's on Linktree. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on social media. Tony's been tweeting a lot more. You've been tweeting a lot more about little wrestling opinions here and there.
Yeah, but mostly making fun of Hook.
Yeah. You tweet other stuff. It's not just a pro like, I hate Hook. It's not just that. Anyway, Linktree, all our social media links. Thank you all for watching or listening and subscribing, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Tony. Say goodbye, Tony.
Bye, Tony.